Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I am creating a layout using the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Daydream collection, and I'm going to include a couple of these foliage cut files from Pear Tree Cut Files. So I'm going to scraplift a layout today. This is the original by Meghan Kelly. I've covered up the faces in her photo just because I don't have permission to share photos of her children. So I've covered that over, but you can see the rest of the layout there. Now, she shared this layout in one of the Facebook groups recently for the love of pretty paper, and it was absolutely stunning and I couldn't stop looking at it. So I asked Meghan if she'd mind if I scrap lifted it, and she said no. So this is my version of it. I am sticking pretty close, if not identical, to what Meghan has done, because I originally planned to try and change it a little bit and make it my own. But the more I looked at Meghan's, the more I loved it, and I just thought, you know what, it doesn't need changing, it's absolutely perfect as it is. So thank you very much for the inspiration, Meghan, and the permission to scrap lift. I hope I've done your layout justice. So as you can see, the background of the layout is made up of triangles of patterned paper. So I'm cutting 4 squares that are 4 by 4 inches, and then I'm cutting them in half diagonally, and I will arrange those on my page to make a kind of diamond shape. I'm just marking on the centre point of the page there, just so I know where to arrange them, and I'm just going to see how they look. It took me a while to decide which patterned papers in this collection I wanted to use. I bought loads of this collection because it really is beautiful, but it's not really me. The colours are really muted and quite pale and pastel-y, and I'm really struggling to use it. I was talking to my friend recently about it, and she's having exactly the same problem. We both think the collection's beautiful, but it's just been put away because we just can't find a way to use it. But when I saw Meghan's layout, I thought this would be perfect because there's a lot of floral elements in this collection. So I've tried to use some of the patterned papers that are a bit less on the girly side. I'm not really one for using pinks because I scrapbook photos for my little boy. But I've got some kind of peachy tones in here, purely because all of the ephemera in this collection has tones of pink and peach, so I couldn't avoid it completely. So I've cut all of those triangles out. I've used the blade of my scissors to distress all the edges, and now I'm just fixing them in place with just a tiny bit of double-sided tape in the middle, and that's because I'm going to machine stitch around the edge of each of them. So don't really need to go overboard on the tape because it will be the machine stitching that holds it more in place. So I'm just positioning all of these pieces, and then off camera I'm going to run it through my machine, and I'm going to stitch with white thread and just do a straight running stitch around each of the edges. So that is all my stitching complete, and for once my sewing machine behaved and did what I asked it to, and I'm loving how this is looking already. And I've just tied off all the ends on the back there and just taped those down, and I'm just using my thumbnails just to distress those edges a bit more, because once I'd run it through my machine they kind of got a bit flattened out, so just using my thumbnail just to make them a bit more distressed. So now I have the fun task of trying to embellish my layout, and this is where I thought I would struggle a lot more, because I usually do with this collection, but having Meghan's layout to work from, it actually came together quite easily. I was really impressed. So I've pulled out another of the patterned papers from the collection just to add a layer behind my photo. I've gone with a more sort of corally pink colour because a lot of the ephemera in this collection has that darker shade of pink in, so I needed to bring it in somewhere else to balance it out. So I've put a layer behind my photo, And I've also added some craft foam behind there to add some dimension. I like my photos to pop up from my layout to kind of draw your eye to them a bit more. And now I'm going through the pack of titles that come in this collection. And this took me a while because I couldn't decide on a title, and I never can with these, which is why I have so many of them left. I think I actually had 2 packets to start with, and I just really struggle to use them. I think it may be because of the size of them, they're quite big, but I absolutely love the font. I think it's a lovely font, kind of like a brush lettering font, but I just really struggle to fit them on a layout. So I've gone with Our Life initially. The photo is of my little boy blowing the seeds off of a dandelion head. Now this was taken last year when we had loads of dandelions. We were still in lockdown, but we were allowed daily exercise. So we used to take a walk over the fields near where we live, and he would insist on picking up every dandelion and blowing them. And that pretty much was our life for lockdown. Walking over the fields, blowing the dandelions. So I thought I was going to use that as my title, but as you can see, I'm rethinking and sorry, my printer's just jumped to life there. I'm rethinking my title because I didn't like the way Our Life sat on the layout. So hold on, let me just turn my printer off. Sorry about that, my printer decided I'd ignored it for too long and it wanted to object. So yeah, I've pulled out moments and I'm going to try and find either some other thickers in my collection or something to make the title a little bit longer. And I just take some time here to fussy cut some of the floral elements off of that floral patterned paper. I absolutely love this paper, and for some reason it's the only paper in the collection I've only bought 1 sheet of. Strangely, but there we go. I've fussy cut some of the florals out, and just off camera I faffed around quite a bit just trying to decide on my placement, and in the end I've stuck pretty close to the original because there was nothing wrong with it, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. So yeah, in the end it was very easy to do my embellishments because I just did exactly what Meghan did. Then just working on sticking some bits down now that I'm happy with placement. I've also added it's kind of like a wood grain frame behind my photo that's from the ephemera pack. I've just done that on kind of like a diagonal slant just to add a bit more interest behind my photo. And then I'm just using the ephemera to build my clusters. So I've got some floral bits. I've got a couple of the, I think they're supposed to be moths more than butterflies, I'm not sure. That I'm going to add on the layout, and some of the little hearts as well. So that's most of that stuck down, and then I've got these foliage leaves from one of the pear tree cut files. I think it was Build a Winter Wreath these are from, and I had them sat on my desk in a pot already printed off, so I thought, already cut out, so I thought I would add a couple to my floral clusters there, just to bring in a bit of white against the pattern papers and a bit more interest. So I've just used, I think, 2 either side of my photo there. So I've bent the wings up of those moths a little bit for a bit of dimension, and then I'm adding one of the flare badges. I think it says The Good Life, this one. And just tucking that in amongst my floral cluster there, and then messing around with hearts, trying to decide which colour to stick where. And I think I just add a couple more flowers up to the top there of my photo. Bit of a tidy up, but I do like to have a clear desk where I can when I work. I can't stand it when I'm trying to create a layout and my desk is so messy I can't see my desk. So I always have a bit of a tidy up every now and then before I carry on. So this is me just having a tidy up. And I've got a couple of the sticker sheets here from the collection. At the beginning of my video I pulled off 2 of the, I think they're like banner stickers, and I stuck them to my tripod, and I'll bring those in at the end. But I'm trying to figure out my title. I wanted to call my layout either Moments Like This or Love These Moments or something like that, but there was no stickers in the collection for the words I needed. And it was late at night and I thought, oh, I could go through all my stickers, but I've got quite a lot of them. So I saw there was a sticker on the sheet that said together, and I thought, well, we went for a walk together, so moments together was kind of perfect. So I've gone with that, and I've raised together up on foam pads. And then these 2 kind of banner stickers, I'm doing the same thing with the foam pads, just spreads a bit more dimension across that side of the page. Contemplated adding one of those rainbows, but couldn't really see a place for it. So I called it a day. So thank you very much to Meghan for allowing me to scrap lift her beautiful layout. Please do check out Meghan's. She's on Instagram. I'll put her handle in my description box below, so you can go out and check hers out. And thank you for joining me. Please remember to subscribe if you'd like to see more of my layouts, and I'll leave you with some close-ups.